on May 15th. That is the Sunday before Elizabeth Windsor is due to arrive in Ireland. And we will be meeting at 3 p.m. at the Garden of Remembrance on Parnell Square. And from there we're going to establish an Irish freedom camp, a 24-hour presence at our Garden of Remembrance in memory of our patriot dead, the men and women who went into that building and declared an Irish Republic. We will maintain that presence at the Garden of Remembrance until the British Queen arrives. And we will not move until these men in yellow coats drag us away. We hope that many people will join us and spread the word to join the Irish Freedom Camp. The second main event that Éirígí is organising during the visit will be at Dublin Castle, where it is believed the main banquet will take place. And there is no reason to doubt that that banquet is going to be attended by the very same people who brought this country to rack and ruin. The same politicians, the same business people, the same journalists will sit down and eat the best of food and drink the best of wine, while the rest of us struggle to survive. You can be absolutely sure they won't be getting the free cheese from the EU at their dinner. And we hope that people will come in. That is more than likely going to be on the evening of Tuesday or the Wednesday evening. So, now I'll explain what we're going to do here today. We're going to have a trial, and you are going to form the jury, a citizens' jury. You, citizens of our Irish Republic that was declared in front of that building 95 years ago. Each of you as citizens of this republic will get a vote on whether you believe that Elizabeth Windsor and her empire are guilty or innocent. I want to make a serious point about this. This is theatrical, and of course it's light-hearted in a way. But the issues here are deadly serious. The British state continues to occupy our country, 1 hour from us. In occupied Ireland there are 5,000 British combat troops. There are 9,000 paramilitary police, and there are an unknown number of MI5 spies. We need to bring that point back into the public domain. We need to bring it centre stage during Elizabeth Windsor's visit. And we need to make sure that when she arrives in this city, she is greeted by thousands of marching feet and angry voices. Voices that rise up and declare that the British Army has no place in Ireland, the British government have no place in Ireland, and the British Queen has no place in Ireland. Yeah!
Members of the citizens' jury, Osar Goran shot in you, not Elizabeth Windsor, who aka Bonry in the Bratana. Before us today stands the accused, one Elizabeth Windsor, aka the British Queen. She stands here not only as the current British head of state and current commander-in-chief of Britain's imperial armies, but also as a potent symbol of the British Empire and British monarchs that went before her. Today, we are not just trying the current British monarch, we are also trying the entire system of British imperialism, which has brought such untold suffering to so many people across the globe. Tá an tír seo freagrach as níos mó na curna in I an Cinedéine ná ein tír eile down. It is unlikely that any other country on earth has been responsible for more crimes against humanity in more lands and over a longer period of time than Britain. And each and every one of these atrocities was carried out in the name of British royalty, in the name of Queen and country. Given the scale of the crimes committed in the name of the British royalty, it is not possible for us to pass judgment on each and every outrage. Instead, we will pass judgment on 12 sample charges. These crimes represent a cross-section of the historic and contemporary crimes that were committed by Britain, both here in Ireland and overseas. Taréis gach cúisih, caithí sibse, an gheora, brethún is a hort, tríd an mhacail nav thiontach, nó thiontach a scarta amach. After each charge is read out, you, the citizen jurors, must pass judgment by calling out the word innocent or the word guilty. So I do spire on Gortha Moore, the grey hunger, when the British state, with the famine Queen Victoria as monarch, allowed at least 1 million Irish citizens to die of hunger and related disease. What say ye, innocent or guilty?
Guilty!
Gwij achwani na dorha na herin, theft of Ireland's natural resources. For centuries past, Britain has plundered Ireland's natural and human resources for its own ends. What say ye, guilty or innocent?
Guilty!
Maru Chianri Iri Amachna Pasca Najek Shajeg, Korkoga Triwaru Kimi Gon Aram. Execution of 1916 leaders. A clear war crime in the form of the summary execution of unarmed prisoners. In the process, robbing Ireland of some of the greatest minds of a generation. The reigning British monarch at the time, George V, was the last one to visit this city. What say ye, guilty or innocent?
Guilty!
Éirígí the Ainiv on Gaelge Iskrisa, attempted eradication of the Irish language. Understanding the importance of language and culture, successive British monarchs and governments has consistently and systematically attempted to eradicate the Irish language from the face of the earth. Fóstin you, Guillotine Stach na Bratana, Ahandas Ahort the Whalgori, the Shayfunde and Taforgafa. To this day, in the occupied 6 counties, the British state, under the reign of Elizabeth Windsor, continues to discriminate against the Irish language and those who wish to use it. What say ye, guilty or innocent?
Guilty!
Corfui Kosh Glushuk Carta Shavilt in the Heron. Suppression of Irish civil rights movement. In the mid-1960s, having suffered endemic discrimination from the time of partition, the nationalist people in the occupied 6 counties set about developing a civil rights movement. The British state, with Elizabeth Windsor on the throne, ensured that it was mercilessly crushed. What say ye, guilty or innocent?
Guilty!
Down na Fulla, Baillia Clea Augustera, Bloody Sunday, Dublin and Derry. On 2 Sundays, in 2 Irish cities separated by 51 years, the British military ruthlessly slaughtered unarmed civilians. King George V, the last British head of state to visit this city, reigned when Croke Park was attacked, while Elizabeth Windsor pinned medals on the chest of Colonel Derek Wilford, the commanding officer of the troops who committed the Derry massacre. What say ye, guilty or innocent?
Guilty!
Humal Walia Clea agus Weenachan, Dublin and Monaghan's bombings. Within 1 mile of where we stand, 26 men, women and children died when 3 car bombs exploded on May 17, 1974. A further 7 people died when a 4th car bomb detonated in Monaghan town. Nithiu Mina Onacha in the Wilmwishna in our Yasmin John Yu placed 3 women in Shaptula Jeg the Vina Bialta Nijek Shaptula. All 33 victims died at the hands of a unionist murder gang that was under the direct control of the British state. The reigning monarch at the time of the bombings, Elizabeth Windsor, is scheduled to arrive in the city on May 17th, the 37th anniversary of the Dublin and Monaghan bombings. What say ye, guilty or innocent?
Guilty!
Éirígí Kimi Politula Éirígí, torture of Irish political prisoners. For hundreds of years, the British state have sought to portray the Irish struggle for freedom as nothing more than a criminal conspiracy. As a consequence, the prisoners have often become battlegrounds with torture, degradation and humiliation being the weapons of choice of the British state. During the reign of Elizabeth Windsor, the conflict within the H-blocks saw hundreds of Republican prisoners suffer unspeakable abuse at the hands of the British state, culminating in the deaths of 10 brave hunger strikers. To this day, the British state refuses to extend political status to Republican prisoners being held in McGarry. What say ye, guilty or innocent?
Guilty!
On General Belgrano, a Corrugabun the Ferga, sinking of the General Belgrano, the liberation of the Malvinas Islands by Argentina in 1982 gave British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher the external enemy she needed to consolidate her flag and support. She personally authorised the sinking of the General Belgrano as it sailed away from the conflict zone, taking 323 souls to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Hug Thatcher cead on General Belgrano a chur go bun na farge agus 300 agus 53 duine a warú. Guilty or innocent?
Guilty!
Co-Ibrew in a groupie Dúnmhairthe Ain Dochtóirí agus Stát na Breataine. Unionist death squad collusion. From the early 1970s to the present day, the British state, through its military and paramilitary police, have implemented a policy of collusion with the Unionist death squads, resulting in the deaths of hundreds of Irish citizens. Through all of this time, Elizabeth Windsor has been the Commander-in-Chief of the British military. What say ye? Guilty or innocent?
Guilty!
Slad Fallujah on Iraq, Gavi is a Cahir. Fallujah Massacre, Iraq, 2004. In November 2004, United States and British military forces launched an all-out offensive on the town of Fallujah in Iraq. Chemical weapons were used extensively during the course of the assault, resulting in the death and maiming of hundreds of civilians. Rinne side during the Breataine and Cork Cogashaw in an Banrain agus Cheer. And Monrain, Elizabeth Windsor. The British troops committed this war crime for Queen and country, their Queen being Elizabeth Windsor. What say ye? Guilty or innocent?
Guilty!
On Forgawal Lanúnach Ernashé Chunday, ongoing occupation of the 6 counties. As we stand here today, 5,000 British combat troops are stationed just an hour away in occupied Ireland. They, in conjunction with the 9,000 paramilitary police of the PSNI and hundreds of MI5 agents, maintain Britain's illegal occupation of the 6 counties. Gwynnin Chichud Chuma, the Navy Lapoli ni paramilitary, the PSNI, agus Nakata Ashina the MI5, Forgawal, Níhlahab and Ernashé Chunday. Throughout her almost 60 years as British monarch, Elizabeth Windsor has provided never-ending support to her loyal troops, regardless of the atrocities they have committed in occupied Ireland. What say ye? Guilty or innocent?
Guilty!
You, the citizen jurors, have found Elizabeth Windsor and the British state guilty on all charges. All that remains is for the sentence to be carried out. With this symbolic guillotine of Elizabeth Windsor and the British Empire, we send out a message to the world. The British royalty is not welcome in Ireland. The age of imperialism and inherited privilege is over. Long live the age of the Republic!
Off with our heads.
Are you ready?
Bless her.
I think we send a message tonight now of what we think of British imperialism and the British Queen. The countdown is on. 4 weeks. 4 weeks to get the youth of this city onto the streets. To get the Republicans of this great, proud city onto the streets. 4 weeks to build a movement that will send a signal to the people of the 6 counties. We have not forgotten you. We will not accept British rule. We will not accept the British military. We will not accept your British Queen. So,